As a first-time entrepreneur with limited capital, what should come first? Brand identity or marketing? A lot of persons believe and have chosen brand identity over marketing as their first, as they are getting started in business. Today, we are going to find out which one is really worth diving in first with limited capital.
Brandogen arms you with strategy, clarity,
systems. Brandogen!
oxygen for business growth.
Before getting started into this argument, let's first clearly define these two things. Brand identity first. So brand identity, this relates and refers to your marketing materials, like your logo. These are not marketing materials, but these are the things you are identified with in the market. Things like your logo, things like your color, things like your brand voice, your packaging. These are the things that when someone sees it, it helps them to quickly remember your brand. A restaurant that just opened newly may want to print a branded polo or shirts for all of their staffs, stuff like that. These are the kind of branding materials we're talking about, right? It's good, they are lovely. Now, when it comes to marketing, we're talking about things like your how visible the business is, how much ad you are doing, the quality content you are creating, the message you are passing across, lead generation. These are the things. How many platforms are you running? Even the ads you are running. How many platforms are you doing that? How many persons are you reaching out on a weekly basis? Are you using radio jingles? Are you using billboards? Are you using television and all of that? This is what marketing is. So which of these two do you think comes first? Remember, branding is how your business makes people feel, and marketing is how your business survives. So let's dive in. This is the lie businesses we are told, that you need strong brand before you can sell. This is completely not true. It is important to have a strong brand identity like that of Apple. Beautiful. It is important to have it, but you can actually start selling even without these strong brand identities. Why? There are many businesses that are doing excellently well. In fact, you need to start selling before you can be able to start looking at your brand identity. You need to generate capital. As a beginner, remember there is a factor here that you are starting with limited capital. You don't have it all. You need to first make the sales, gain the capital, gain the profits, then you can go for the best of these brand identities. They can be very expensive. At the same time, if you go for the cheaper ones, you can still get it at a very cheaper rate. So we truly want to go for the best. And to go for the best for our businesses, we need to start making profits. If the business is profitable, then we can afford to go for any level of brand identity that we want to go for, right? So there are businesses that are looking mercy. Their brands are looking mercy. Their brand identity are looking mercy. It's very disgusting, but they are doing real business. They are in business. They are selling on daily basis, right? A brand like Apple, for instance, if you can search, this is what their logo is when they started. Compare it to what they are currently running. Now, this is our honest answer. At Brandogen, we believe that marketing should come first. And this is the reason. Marketing validates your ideas. Marketing, when you get started with marketing first, what happens is before the business gets started, there's a question you have usually, and the question is, will I sell? How will I get customers and all of that? Will people love my brand? Will people love my products? How good is this? How good is this idea? Right? In as much as you must have tested it, you must have developed your MVP and all of that. You must have tested the business, but marketing goes a long way. If you choose marketing first, it goes a long way in helping your business to at least stand out. Remember, there are competitors you have, right? And these competitors are hungry, are waiting. In most cases, they are not even looking out for the best of brands, best of the products. They are looking out for who is available for them first, right? So if you spend your time trying to look so good even before you are available, you're going to miss out on the market. So marketing first helps you to validate your business idea. Marketing brings feedback. Take for instance that business that is in your mind. Take your time, go to ChatGPT or Meta AI, any of the AI tools, or even Google. Download a logo for your business that is in your mind. You have not even told anybody about it. Take it, put it out there, and say this is the worst brand ever, or this is the best brand ever. And let's get to know how many persons will comment on it. Then after you're done with that, do the second version. Go and get an Apple logo for Apple or Microsoft, any of these big brands or Google, and say, I can't even. This company is the worst company in the world, or this company is the. You see the arguments. People, that arguments are feedback, people's experiences about the business, right? So when you do marketing first, what you get, it helps you to get feedbacks. It helps you to also get cash flow, which I believe is also is important in the every day-to-day activity of every business. Marketing tells you what kind of brand you should build, right? It helps you to tell you, based on the feedbacks you receive, it suggests what kind of brand you should build. Branding without the right market feedbacks is just a guesswork. You don't really know what kind of brand you're building and all of that. So that's important. You can go ahead and build something you believe is beautiful, but the market perceives or takes you to something else, right? But if you go into the market and start selling, start growing your business over time, you understand your ideas gets to develop, becomes bigger, and the brand continues to grow. Then you should be, at that moment you already understand who you are. Take for instance, you're into fintech and you are intending to become just the first, maybe something else, but by the way everything keeps going, you now notice that for every single transaction that happens, for out of okay, let's say 80 out of the 100 transactions that happens in Africa on daily basis is powered by your brand. Then your brand can become that part of the message around your brand can become that brand that powers transactions in Africa. And then you start looking for an identity that matches such, right? It is beautiful. In as much as you may already have had a background brand, a kind of brand you want to build, you may have you may have had an idea of the kind of brand you intend to build, but these ideas, ideas coming, feedbacks coming from customers and users can also help you to build something much better. Part of the questions you are to look out for is one, who is buying? Second, what are they buying? Third is what promise is converting. These are the offers you are putting in. These are the kind of questions you should be able to answer. These are the kind of things you should pay attention to, because when you have the right answer to ask who is buying, it will help you to, even when you start building your brand identity, it helps you to look at the kind of colors, the kind of fonts you should use. Take for instance, you are trying to sell a product for kids, that family products that parents and kids use, maybe fun time and stuff like that. But you end up finding out, just like Indomie, that Indomie is being consumed more by kids, right? But who buys them? Parents. Now, if you start marketing it for parents to see and buy for their children, it may not work well. But the best form is to make Indomie such that every child wants it. I remember how Indomie made us all feel when we were younger, right? So, and this is what marketing can help you do. It answers the question, who is buying? Second thing, if you are a kind of business brand that have multiple products, another question you have to ask yourself, what are they buying, right? This will help you to also clearly understand what you are doing. What kind of promise do they, what kind of promise converts? This is also help tell you what kind of offers you should always come up with. These are important for your business growth when it comes to market. The idea behind this video is not to criticize or talk you out of going for that perfect brand identity, the perfect logo, and all of that. No, it's not. Now, because of that, we are going to be also giving you the basic, I choose to call the MVP. We have MVP, which is minimum viable product. Now, MVP is the minimum viable brand, right? So these are the things, at least the minimum you should have to that is good enough. Like it's good enough to give you all that you need. Now, the first, there are going to be about three of it, but the first one we're going to be doing is your business name and what you do. Business name and what you do. You should be able to have a clear and simple, unique business name that someone can remember and understand in like under 5 seconds, right? Just like us, Brandogen. What is Brandogen? Brand, oxygen, simple. We are the oxygen for business growth, and that is it. So what does oxygen do for you? It keeps you alive, and that is it. So once you integrate brand origin into your brand, it's steadily alive. There's nothing dead in it. So and that is just it for us. Now, for every other brand, especially you should be able to find a name that should be able to sync or send a message to everyone who hears about your business. So about what you do, you should be able to communicate your services in simple, plain terms. Just like I've explained, we've given you an instant a hint on what we do. But if we should tell you further, we won't tell you that we are a solution-driven brand or solution-driven organization that every business in Africa needs. No, that's too big for some persons. Instead, we will tell you that we help every business to gain customers and to make sure that they are currently selling and always in business. That's simple, right? So try to make sure that you communicate your message to your audience in simple, plain terms. That time is going to come when you're going to start using those big grammars, big words. People don't really care at all at the moment. Why? Because they have already understand that, right? But at the moment, you need to be as simple as possible. Your name should be unique. It should not be Ola's Enterprise Limited and Sons and no, it should not be that. It should be Ola's Enterprise. Simple, right? It should be very simple. If not Ola's, Ola and Co. Simple, like something very simple and unique, right? That we'll be able to do. The second thing is your visual identity. For visual identity, you do not need to spend over 500,000 to get started. My dear, we have a couple of businesses we are servicing at the moment who do not have the budget for brand, for logo and all of that. We encourage them to get started with AI logos. And guess what? They are looking good and beautiful, right? So you don't necessarily need to go out as far as investing heavily on logo designs. Trust me, good logo designs, God help me. Good logo designs, not logo designs. Good logo designs can be very expensive. Take your time, Google, check it out. Good logo, how much does good logo cost? How much does good logo design cost in Nigeria? How much does good logo design cost in Africa? How much does good logo design cost in Europe? Find out the price and tell me if what that can do for your business this year, right? So find out how best you can get. I'm giving you an idea. Use Meta AI, use ChatGPT. Go to Google, browse it, Gemini, which one? I'm not saying whichever. So find out which it is, right? Get yourself a good business logo. Explain, put in the prompt what your business is about, what you offer. And very important, that's the second part in your visual identity. Just use minimum, don't exceed 2 colors. Do not exceed 2 colors. And most importantly, make sure the colors they're using are in harmony. There are 2 colors that can go together. These are part of your visual identity. Have maybe your slogan. Have your slogan. This is part of your name anyways, part of person I mentioned, name and all of that. So for visual identity, just these 2 I've mentioned is enough. These 2 is enough. Then the last part, which is the online presence. The last part is the online presence. Make sure you are in at least one social media platform. At least one, should I have at most 3? At most 3. That 3 includes WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram. Facebook and Instagram are integrated, so that's at least 3, right? If you have energy for TikTok, that's good. That's pretty much that's really good, right? So, but you should be in at least um, in one. You should be in at least one. It's very much important for your business. So for businesses, these things I mentioned now, literally will cost you nothing to get started except business name. You may need to get registered with CSE and all of that. It's important. It's important. But at least it will save you money. It will save you. It will go a long way in saving you money compared to if you are compared to going about saving, designing logo, designing, printing T-shirts for your business. Having your branded face cap, branded thank you bag. Right, there are other thank you bags that is not customized. It's just rampant. You can always work with that. They're going for a customized socks. I know who go as far as getting customized ties. It's beautiful, but it can be crazy when you just getting started. Right, all of these things are beautiful and nice. Like they are unique, but they are not needed at that moment. So why does big brands make branding and stuff like logo look so important? This is the answer. It is important for them at that level. Why? Because it's what gives them dominance, right? I'll give us an analogy. See branding as clothes and marketing as oxygen. So between these two, which one does human being need as a primary factor to survive? It is oxygen. They need it to live. Now, when you have finally survived, you are now living. You can now think of clothes. And when you think of clothes, take for instance, it is difficult to get clothes. You always get the one that is available first, right? When you now get the one that is available, cover your nakedness first and look like a human being. Then you can now start thinking of where can I buy designers, right? So over time, when you now finally get your very good clothes, you can look out for designers. When you finally get designers, you are comfortable. So the person who has not gotten oxygen, you won't see the person. Take for instance, there are two people, two categories. Some people are dragging for oxygen, and some are dragging for clothes. You won't see someone that have not gotten oxygen rushing to go and get designers shirts. You have to first of all live, survive before you go for the next one. So this is why this big companies, big brands make logo look as though it's right, because when they have gotten it, people are like, wow, see this. That's where they are. They're in their timing, my brother. They are there. You don't necessarily need to compete with them at the moment. You just need to get started. You just need to survive. Tell yourself, I need to survive. Branding is useless. This is not the message we are trying to pass across today. No. We're not trying to tell you that branding is useless. We're only trying to tell you it is important, but you need to start. Before you start doing that, see marketing as a multiplier and branding as a starter. The aim of this video is to help you understand that you should first not pay money, not pay attention to looking so sweet, to looking so top-notch and all of that. It is important, but the aim of the video is to make sure that you first pay to get seen first, pay to get leads first, pay to be heard first. Then after these are done, you can now pay to look extremely good, right? That's because you are looking good to extremely good to people that can see you. But what will it benefit you that you have 100,000 and you spend 80,000 for your business, for your logo, just to look extremely good to people who will not see you? I don't know if you understand. So that's the reason you should spend 80,000 to people so that people can see you. You should pay 80,000 to get leads. You should pay 80,000 to be heard. Then 20,000 to look extremely good, if it's possible, right? So that is it. That's simple. The simple part. 80% to be heard, and 20% to be extremely. That's your identity and all of that. So it's important that you understand this message, and we appreciate your interest in all you do. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing this message to the whole world. Yeah, our goal is always to send this message across to as many persons as that needs it. Important marketing tips across all various kind of businesses. This is Brandogen. This is the Oxygen for Business. Cheers.